I'm Stephen Mayne. Welcome to the Mayne Report. Now, Rupert Murdoch is undoubtedly the greatest entrepreneur Australia has ever produced. I mean, the bloke's the most powerful guy in the world, given his media assets he owns, so you got to take your hat off to the guy. Now, I've been dealing with him for 18 years, ever since Rupert gave me my first job in journalism on the Sun News pictorial way back in January 1989. I worked for the guy for 7 years, and then for the last decade or so, I've been going along to his annual meetings as a shareholder and trying to spice up the AGM. Now, you've got to remember that Rupert only had one question in 7 years during the 1990s before I turned up in 1999 and asked him 16 questions in a row over 40 minutes. And my whole point that day was to say that News Corporation is not a family company. Back then, 70% of the shares were owned by the public. These days, it's 85% of the shares that are owned by the public. Yet Rupert still thinks he's running a family company. Just have a listen to what he said when he tried to take over the Wall Street Journal.
It is a family newspaper. We appreciate the sensitivities. We are a family company too.
So how does Rupert Murdoch keep control of News Corporation? What he does is he issues non-voting shares to the public. So 70% of all News Corporation shares don't have a vote. This means that Rupert is effectively running a gerrymander that would make Sir Joh Bjelke-Petersen blush. Now, if you read Rupert's newspapers or watch his television programs, the guy is a big advocate of democracy. He wanted to invade Iraq to spread a bit of democracy and give us a $20 a barrel oil price, which we're all still waiting for. So after a few years of, trying to run for the News Corp board like I did in 2002 and having a really decent argument with him back in 2004, which generated the wonderful quote where Rupert said, "You're free to fire me any time, Mr. Mayne." That was good enough to put on a mug. All I did was ask him whether he had a fixed term contract or not. So this year I thought I'd try something different. I mean, you can get up and say a few words, ask a few questions, you can run for the board, but what about actually putting up a resolution that shareholders can vote on? Now, this is quite difficult to do in Australia because you need to have 100 signatures from different shareholders to get a resolution on the ballot. But things are a lot easier in the States, and Rupert's been over there since 2004. In America, you only need US $2,000 worth of shares to get a resolution on the ballot paper. So, this year, I proposed a resolution that Rupert gets rid of the non-voting shares. He doesn't like it. He's been complaining to the US regulators trying to stop my resolution, but I'm confident that in the next couple of days, it will be publicly revealed that my resolution is up for a vote. And if it succeeds, Rupert would go from owning 40% of the votes at News Corp to just 15%. And we'd have successfully spread a bit of democracy into News Corp. Now, I know the really big question from today is, why is this guy wearing all black? Well, back in 2005, I was wearing black at the News Corp AGM in New York, and the nutty American shareholder activist Evelyn Davis claimed I looked like a Nazi stormtrooper. I'm no stormtrooper. I'm just a little shareholder activist who owns shares in 410 companies, but my biggest investment is $4,000 worth of News Corp shares, and I would really love to see Rupert embrace a bit of democracy by supporting my resolution. After all, this is the guy who's now going to tell everyone else how to behave through the Wall Street Journal. So surely he should clean up his own backyard before he does that. I'm Stephen Mayne, this is the Mayne Report, and just keep doing your best.